Many are questioning that the National People's Congress has no right to enact the national security law for Hong Kong. Is that the case?
Well, the National People's Congress, of course, is the ultimate body of state power under the Chinese constitution. It can enact laws for any part of the country, including national security laws. The National People's Congress, of course, only allowed Hong Kong the authority to enact its own national security laws as its agent. So it was entrusting Hong Kong as an agent to act on its behalf to enact these laws. And the NPC has waited patiently, as indeed has the rest of the country, for 23 years for this to be done. So it's leant over backwards to be reasonable about the matter, but nothing has happened. And of course, as I say, this was brought to a head last year when local protest movement agitators took advantage of the gap in the law to exploit the situation and try to destabilize the country. So in those circumstances, quite clearly, the NPC had no option but to step in and to act. Quite clearly, no other country in the world would allow a situation to arise in which a part of the country has no national security laws. And when that situation is exploited by elements which are opposed to the country itself and indeed by foreign forces. No country in the world would tolerate that situation. United States wouldn't, United Kingdom wouldn't, Canada wouldn't, France wouldn't. So why should China be the only place in the world, the only country which allows a part of its nation not to have any national security laws in order to protect the country?
And some critics of the national security law say it will violate the one country, two systems principle.
Well, Hong Kong, you've got to remember that Hong Kong is a local administrative region of China. It's not an independent country. It's not an autonomous region. It has a high degree of autonomy, it's true, but as the Basic Law, Article 12 makes clear, Hong Kong comes directly under the Central People's Government. So if subversive activities or secessionist activities are occurring within Hong Kong, then that threatens one country, two systems itself. When there is continued violence on the streets, people smashing up shops, attacking people, setting fire to public facilities, trying to damage the train network, these type of things. That is a direct threat not only to the safety of the people of Hong Kong and their businesses, but also to the country as a whole. It is a destabilizing influence. And if it's allowed to continue unchecked, then that will pose a real threat to the survival of one country, two systems. So what the PRC is now doing, the central authorities, is taking actions which will enable Hong Kong to be a secure place for business confidence to be restored, for people to be able to go around their business without being in constant fear of petrol bombs or damage to the trains or whatever it may be. So that is a good thing. It will restore the status quo as it used to be, and that will reassure people. As I say, that is a measure designed to protect one country, two systems, and not to undermine it. And indeed, it's been made abundantly clear that the legislation is targeted not at the broad mass of the population, but at those people who are prepared to use violence in order to further their political objectives, whether those objectives are subversive in nature, aimed at the central authorities, or whether they are secessionist in nature, aimed at breaking up the country.